Hey guys, welcome to video number 2 of our champion challenge. I'm really excited for those of you who are taking time out of your day to be able to get better this week. Before we get started, I want to make sure you guys have some time to stretch out. We're not going to be stretching during this video, so if you need to stretch, pause the video, come back when you're finished, and we'll get started with the workout. We're going to be warming up today with sparring flow number 3. Sparring flow number 3 is going to start in a sparring stance. We're going to do a 1 block, a reverse punch, shift your weight back, number 1 round kick. One more time, that's 1 block, reverse punch, shift your weight back, number 1 round kick from the side. That looks like this. Front hand, back hand, front leg. Let's go ahead and do that 5 times on each side. Pause the video and come back when you're finished. We're going to be moving into some forms today. If you know your form section, go ahead and stay here. If you're a white belt that doesn't quite know your form yet, that's okay. We have a link that's going to be down below in the description. Go ahead and click that. Have that be your workout for today. Work on that memorization for the form. All right, guys, we're gonna get going with some forms practice today. Today, we're gonna be focusing on extended plane dynamic force. Now, that means that all of your technique, with the exception of a few, is gonna be on either a linear or a lateral path. For example, a punch is gonna be on a linear path, it's coming away from my body, whereas a round kick is gonna be on a lateral path. It's moving side to side that way. Knife hand would be a lateral path, a palm heel would be a linear path, etc. So with our forms rep that we're gonna do today, you're gonna focus on your section. In that section, I want you guys to focus on mostly your kicks, but also your hand techniques. We don't want any knife hands to swoop. We're gonna imagine that there's an invisible tabletop here that we're knife handing right on top of, or that we're round kicking right on top of, depending on what kicks and hand techniques are gonna be in your form section. I'm gonna demonstrate with the blue belt section today. So for example, my palm heel here is coming straight from my hip. This is not a lateral technique. My palm heel is a linear technique. It's coming straight from my hip. My round kick, however, is going to be a lateral technique. In order to make this work, the chamber is going to be essential. Once I put my feet together, I'm going to get ready for this number 3 round kick. I have to point my knee in order to make it a lateral technique. If I don't point my knee, or my knee's doing something funky, then it's going to be a funky technique. So pivot point and lateral round kick. These knife hands are lateral as well. And then doing the other side, making sure all of my techniques are on the correct path. If you're doing a front kick, that's a linear technique. It's gonna be going forward. Side kick is also a linear technique. If you're a white or yellow belt working in that section, that side kick is gonna come from close to your body and push out, pull back in. It's gonna be a lateral technique, imagining you're pushing something away from you. And so that's what we're gonna be working on. Reminder that you're just gonna be working on your form section. I want you to hit it 7 times. After you finish, come on back and we'll move on to the next thing that we're doing. Moving into some kick practice, we're gonna be working on round kicks today. Now that we were working on extended plane dynamic force before, we're gonna be translating that into our round kick practice today. With your round kick, it's a technique that moves on that lateral path. And so that means I'm gonna need to point my knee at my target. I wanna work on some slow round kicks just a little bit before we do some of our more dynamic things a little bit later. Our slow round kicks, make sure my knee's not moving like it's on a hinge, like a door. It's just staying in that same spot, and my foot and my lower leg is doing all of that work. Keep your shoulders back. My shoulder, hip, and knee should all be in a line here. If you find yourself, your body making a V, pull that knee back, use the muscles in your back there to pull that back. Make sure your foot's pivoted. We're just gonna go ahead and do 10 on each side, nice and slow. Pause the video, come back when you're finished. Good work on that. I wanna move into some round kicks today. If you have somebody to hold a target for you at home, now is a good time to grab them. If you have a bag at home to strike on, and now is a good time to grab that. If you don't have either of those things, that's okay. We'll just do it in the air today. I want to work on the difference between the sparring foot shape and the artistic foot shape on a round kick. We're going to start with the artistic foot shape. You're going to be pulling your toes back and striking with the ball of your foot here. On the sparring foot shape, you'll be hitting with the top of your foot. That's the part that's going to be striking, or if you're doing it in the air, that's the part that you're going to be imagining is going to be striking the target. I want to alternate that. So what that's going to mean is that you're going to go artistic foot shape, and then you're going to go sparring foot shape on the next one. Artistic foot shape, sparring foot shape, and I want to alternate that. We're going to go to 10 on each side. Make sure you're doing both sides. That's what I want to work on right now. Go ahead and get started with that. Pause the video, come back when you're finished. Good work on that. If you are a green and above and you want a little extra challenge, we can add the side kick to the beginning of that. The benefit of that is, especially in sparring, when you're doing a linear technique than a lateral technique, you're making your partner move their guard a little bit more. So a side kick, then round kick. If you want to practice and add that challenge, you can do 10 side kick, round kicks on each side. And then moving on to what we're going to be doing next. Pause the video if you're doing that. If you're not doing that, stick with me. We're going to move into a push-up set. What you're going to do is, starting on your knees, you're going to touch your shoulders, then you're going to touch your head, and you're going to do 1 push-up. Go back to your knees, touch your shoulder, touch your head, and then we're moving on to 2 push-ups. Back to those knees, moving on to 3 push-ups. Your goal is to get to 7 push-up sets. If you want to go beast mode, you could do 8, you could do 9, you can do up to 10. Go ahead and pause the video, get going on those, make sure you got good form, make sure you take your time on your push-ups. Go ahead and pause the video and get started on that. Good work on those push-ups. We're gonna move into one more strength and conditioning set. We're gonna move into some squats. We're gonna do some sumo squats today though. That's gonna work the inside of your thigh on those adductor muscles. It's gonna engage those a little bit more than what a regular squat will do. So in order to get to this sumo squat, make sure that you're doing it correctly. You're gonna start like in an attention stance. Put your toes out and your feet out 1 time. Do it 1 more time and then just put your toes out. That's gonna put you in this sumo squat. Your feet should be facing out away from you. Just go ahead and go down to 90 degrees like you would for a regular squat and come on back up. What we're gonna do with the sumo squat is the same thing we did with the push-up set. We're gonna do 1 sumo squat and then go ahead and take a rest. If you wanna add a clap in between, you can do that, hype yourself up. And then 2, moving into 2, and then go ahead and pause, moving into 3. Be really aware of your knees on this one. Your knees don't wanna come forward or in or anything like that. They wanna be traveling out that way, not to the point to where they're gonna be past your ankles here. You wanna make them even with your ankles and then come on back up. You don't ever want them to go past because that could cause some injury. So make sure you're careful on those. I think I'm moving on to 4 sumo squats there. Once again, your goal is gonna be 7. If you're feeling like a beast today, you can go more than that. Go ahead and pause the video and get started on that. Nice job on those sumo squats. We're done with that strength and conditioning. Now that you're nice and tired, I'm gonna have you hit a form set. You're gonna go to Chubi, take a deep breath. You're gonna bust out 1 rep of your form, full intensity. Go ahead and pause the video and get started on that. With that, you're all finished with this workout number 2 in our champion challenge today. It's so much harder to do workouts at home when you don't have your classmates or instructors pushing you, but what it does when you're working out by yourself and you're pushing yourself on your own, that builds so much more perseverance. So congratulations on that today. You guys are definitely champions.